Hey guys, today we're going to learn about 7-8 and then we're going to talk about percents, decimals, and fractions. I thought this was a great visual that I put on here yesterday, so I wanted to put it on again because it's really showing how to convert between fractions, percents, and decimals. All the little notes that it gives you in here are really great. Now I got a new stylus, so I'm hoping I'm going to be able to make my 2's in one shot this time. Let's see how it goes. And specifically, I guess today we're going to be talking about how to write decimals and fractions as percents. Yesterday was how to write percents as decimals and fractions. Now we're doing backwards decimals and fractions as percents. All right, so I really thought this was great. I really highly suggest, please do write down these notes right here. It is going to be a great help to have the words, to know exactly what you're doing at each step. Please write it down. So, first thing, it says, write 3/10 as a percent. Okay? So, first step is write the decimal as a fraction. So this is 3/10. I would write 3/10 as a fraction like this. 3/10. Okay, check. Step 2, write an equivalent fraction with 100 as the denominator. Now this is where it's saying if you know you can multiply the numerator and denominator by the same number and get the denominator to equal 100, then this would be an easy route to go. So I see that I can multiply by 10, multiply by 10, and then I would get a denominator and I would get a numerator of 30. A denominator of 100. Okay, check. Last step. Write the numerator with the percent symbol. So remember when we talked about last lesson that really a percent is 30 per 100. So if I go from 30 per 100, I can just simply write that as 30%. And I'm done. Okay, so this one is just see if you can get the denominator to equal 100. Is it always going to be able to equal 100? No, that's why we have the second method next. But if you can do it easily, then that would be the fastest route to take. All right, so let's try a different method. So this is just our first method. Let's try a different one. Oh, not trying our different method yet. We're going to do another one. All right, so if I wrote this decimal, 43 hundredths as a percent, my first step was to write it as a fraction. So 43 hundredths. I just know because I say this one as 43 hundredths, and I know I can write it the same way as a fraction as 43 hundredths. Now this one's easy peasy lemon squeezy because it's already 100 at the bottom. And if it's already 100 at the bottom, then I just know that this is my percent. So this equals 43%. So, and we're done with that. Now let's look at the second method. Okay, so now this is if you don't have something that you can make 100. For example, we have this number right here, 7,431 10,000ths. Now you can't multiply that to make it 100, so we've got to have another method. Now our other method is just to simply multiply the number by 100. Now it sounds tricky, but really we'll get in, I'll kind of give you a little hint here. So if I have 0 and 7,431 10,000s and I multiply it by 100, sorry, I kind of got my 1 a little too far over there. If I multiplied all of them by 0, I'd get 0. Multiplied all of them by 0, I get 0. Then I would do 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 7 is 7. Now I need to bring the decimal point back 4 spaces. So the number I would get would be 74 and 31 hundredths. Then all you have to do is add the percent symbol. But, so here's the deal. If I take my original number And the number, when I multiply it by 100, I would get 74 and 31 hundredths. If I look at those two numbers, all I did is I moved my decimal point 2 spots to the left. Okay, and I'm moving it to the left because my number is getting larger. I'm multiplying by 100, my number should get larger. So really, if something says, please multiply this by 100, then all you have to do is move that decimal point 2 digits to the left. Let's try that on the next slide. All right, so write 23 thousandths as a percent. So remember, our first step is multiply by 100. So I just have to move the decimal point 2 spots to the left. So that is going to equal 2 3/10%. That's it. So we just have to remember, multiply 100 means move it 2 decimal spots to the left. Even write that down. Multiply by 100 means move the decimal 2 places to the left. And that will be a good reminder to yourself when you take the test that that's what you need to do. Anyways, let's try another problem. Okay, so now we're trying to write fractions as percent. Here are the methods you need to use. I'd strongly suggest writing them down. And here we go. So our first method is to write an equivalent fraction with the denominator of 100. And our first step is to write an equivalent fraction with the denominator of 100. Okay, so if I have the number 4/5 and I want the bottom, the denominator, to be 100, the question is, what do I have to multiply it by? And so I know that 5 times 20 is 100. So if I multiply the numerator and denominator by 20, I would get 100 on the bottom as my denominator. And on the top, 4 times 20 would be 80. Okay, so if I get a denominator of 100, and that means it's a percent already, that means I just have to write the numerator with a percent symbol. So I take my numerator and say that that is equal to 80%. 80 over 100 is equal to 80%. Okay, let's try another one. So now this one is not an example that we can just multiply 8 by something and get 100. We could figure it out, but that would take much longer than this other method that we're going to practice now. The first one just says, divide the numerator by the denominator. We practice this. Divide the top by the bottom. Okay, so that means the numerator goes on the inside. The denominator goes on the outside. Now, we want this to be a decimal, so I know I'm going to add my decimal already. Because 8 doesn't go into 3, I need to add a 0. 8 goes into 30 3 times, minus 24. That would give me 6 left over. Now, I'm going to just add another 0. 60. 8 goes into 60 7 times, and that is 56. So our 4 left over. Add another 0, bring it down. 8 goes into 45 times, and it's exactly 40. So we're left with a 0, nothing left over. So my division here is 375 thousandths. Then my second step here says multiply by 100 by moving the decimal point right 2 places, then add the percent symbol. So to multiply by 100, or to turn this into a percent, I just need to move it 2 spaces to the right. So this will be the same as 37 5/10%. Now we can have a decimal in a percent. It happens quite often actually, so don't get thrown off if your percent has a decimal. So here is our answer right here. Let's try another one. Okay, about 39/50ths of Earth's atmosphere is made up of nitrogen. About what percent of the atmosphere is nitrogen? Now, you're going to have to decide which method you will use, and in this case, I know that if I look at the number 39/50ths, I know that I can multiply the denominator and numerator by 2, And that would get me my percent because 50 times 2 is 100. And that's our goal. We want to get to 100. Then I need to figure out what is 39 times 2. That would be 18. 2 times 3 would be 6. Plus 1 more would be 7. So I would get the number 78 over 100. But they want a percent. But I know that since 100 is the denominator, that my percent is just going to be my numerator. So the answer would be 78%. Or 78 out of 100 is the percent of the atmosphere that is nitrogen. That's crazy, quite a large percent. So anyways, so today we're just going to practice going between percents, decimals, fractions, and back and forth in between each other because they're all related. So it's pretty cool that we're going to be practicing this so much that pretty soon you will be able to look at something and figure it out quite easily. So anyways, thank you for watching, and we will see you tomorrow.